What's up, Doc? Why did I create LPE, Limitless Practice Elite? And what is it? Probably gonna start with why. That's the most important place to start. If you know Simon Sinek, always start with why, right? But I've been getting that question asked a lot, more than ever. As LPE gets bigger and bigger and more people are hearing about it, they're curious. They wanna know, what is it? What is it, and what's it all about? And kind of why did you start it? There's a couple different ways to answer that question, why, and I think probably the best, easiest, most honest, authentic way of answering that is, I've always kind of been a little bit hooked on the idea of helping other chiropractors, even going back to the old school days back in school, where I was operating as running some of the technique clubs, teaching the technique clubs. I got hooked on the idea of if I could influence in a positive way another chiropractor, then that ripple effect, right, would always be there. So if I could help a chiropractor through technique, being a better chiropractor, helping people get better results, then I could potentially have that ripple effect in multiple offices, even though I may never even talk to that chiropractor again. So I kind of got hooked on helping chiropractors become better chiropractors even before I became a chiropractor while I was in school. And then of course, fast forward a couple years, you get really busy with practice, you get really focused on doing your thing and trying to become successful. Came from nothing, started with nothing, really didn't do anything too extraordinary for a long time because I, like many, just didn't know what I didn't know. Didn't know how to become successful, didn't know who to go to for advice. So struggled for many, many years. But fast forward, long story short, I created something pretty extraordinary in our office. An office that is largely wellness-based, is restorative corrective based by nature, is vitalistic by nature, has associate doctors in there where the business model is actually working harder for me than I have to work for it. I would consider that something that a lot of us aspire to create, achieve, or have at some point in time. So then circles back this motivation, this addiction, if you will, of helping people. Not just patients, not just practice members, but again, going back to chiropractors. Not so much from the technique standpoint, but how to build a vehicle through which the vision can be served or delivered or realized or attained at a much higher level, whether it's for the practice owner or the members of the practice, ideally both. So then it was looking back, well, what are the mistakes I made? What did I learn? What did I change? How did I get here? And how can I help more chiropractors get here faster? Started off with just taking on associate doctors. So the goal was, if it took me 5 or 10 years, how could I half that for these guys or these girls? Get them there faster. What do they need to know? Mindset, approach, strategy, all the many elements of business dynamics and development, running a business, creating a business, sustaining a business, attraction, conversion, retention, referrals. How did I get it all wrong and how did I get it right? And then how can I share that with people as an associate chiropractor? But then that wasn't enough either. It had to be bigger, had to be more, had to have a bigger level of impact. So then I thought, well, if I could just get what's out of my head into a format to where somebody I've never met, somebody from a different state, somebody on a different coast, maybe in a different country, could get access to that and learn from that and implement that. And more importantly, trying to create a system, a style that a doctor could plug into, something that I wanted way back in the day, and I wish I would have had, but I couldn't find, I looked. Something that was a very non-linear way, a non-linear model, a non-linear mode of learning to be a better version of ourselves as a chiropractor, as a caregiver, but also as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And what do we mean by non-linear? Like, I saw a lot of programs out there, people sharing things, coaches, products, contracts, etc., but it was always very linear, basically like my way. Here's what I did to get to this point, therefore, here's what you must do. Say it this way, believe what I believe, do what I do. And for some people, I get that works. That's what some people want. Just tell me what to say, tell me what to do, and I'll just do that. I'm not that kind of person. I still kind of have that artist inside of me that wants to create the better version of me. I still want to create. I just want to know, how can I do it faster and in a bigger way so more people can see it, value it, enjoy it, benefit from it, etc., right? So a non-linear approach to becoming a better chiropractor and maybe a better business owner or entrepreneur. So that's kind of what I wanted to create, because I felt that there was a need for people like me in the profession that need that way of learning, that style of learning. So that kind of leads us into what is Limitless Practice Elite. It's kind of why I created it, and maybe why I created it a certain way. So I try to be very cognizant of not saying, here's exactly what I do, therefore here's exactly what you should do. Because what works for me may not work for you. Different personalities, different styles of leadership, different goals, different definitions of success, different demographics, different business model, different technique, different philosophy, etc. So to be linear, I would only serve or help a small segment, a small population. Anything I'm saying or doing or offering would only resonate or be valuable or actually be effective with a smaller group. What if I could create a non-linear, more dynamic way of any chiropractor in any part of the world, with any technique or any philosophical point of view, still be able to engage and extrapolate value, ideas, inspiration, strategies, tips, and advice on how to make immediate improvements in what they're currently doing, whether it's a mindset or a strategy. We usually tend to focus on both. So we do this more in an audio, like podcast format. So I'll pick an element, an impact point, something about a practice or the way practices are run, trying to make everything universally applicable. Meaning, again, it doesn't matter who you are, your personality, your style, etc. But this is how most chiropractic businesses run. You have a day one, you have a day two, you have a re-exam, blah, 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 blah. So how could we make that better? So we might focus on just one category or element and then different subcategories of that. Like pick a re-exam, etc. How is it done? How could it be done better? What are the steps or stages? When do we do it? How do we be more efficient, more effective? What would we say? What wouldn't we say? What would we focus on? What wouldn't we focus on? And not saying this is how I do it, therefore this is how you should do it, but how could it be done better? Asking ourselves interesting or difficult questions on, where are my limitations? What could be my limitation with my current mindset, the way I'm going about doing it, what I currently believe, and the mechanics of how I'm actually executing it? Where's the limitation? How could I find it? How could I turn the limitation into an opportunity for improvement? Making my current better, or besting the previous version of myself, right? That's something that I'm always focused on myself. That's something I'm always trying to get my associate doctors to do. And I try to create that opportunity through the vehicle of Limitless Practice Elite on how could any chiropractor anywhere do the same thing. Thinking nonlinear, looking for opportunity where they otherwise wouldn't think it exists, being self-critical, self-examining mindset and strategy, mechanics, and always be innovating and optimizing who they are and what they're doing. How could you not get better, right? And how could you not feel good about that? Because it's still very authentic. It's you becoming a better version of you. It's just somebody like me saying, here's the topic, and here's 13 ways to look at it differently. Choose whichever one is most empowering to you. Try a couple, test them, whichever one works best, lock it in, move on to the next topic, move on to the next impact point or element of patient care or designing, operating, running, and sustaining the business, right? We don't focus so much on the philosophy of necessarily who you are and how you should be doing it from a chiropractor standpoint. Can't help it. I'm kind of a big philosophy guy, big, deep love for chiropractic. I don't talk about it too much. There's other people already handling that, right? What I found is there's a lack of, again, nonlinear, dynamic advice or resources for chiropractors to go to, like a well from which they can pull from to nourish the business owner, the entrepreneurial side. Because one of our favorite podcasts, my personal favorite, is Vehicle versus the Vision. Some of us have great, great, great visions for serving humanity through the vehicle of chiropractic, but our vehicle is busted. It's horribly tuned up. We're not tuning it up, or we don't know how to tune it up. The performance level of the vehicle is exceptionally low. So it's one of my greatest griefs is to see a chiropractor or see the potential behind any chiropractor to serve humanity, to realize a greater vision, adopt a greater vision, and serve humanity through that vision, but their vehicle remains busted. They don't know how to tune it up or where to even start tuning it up, right? So again, in Limitless Practice Elite, we focus more on the vehicle, right? Because I think if the vehicle is where it needs to be, it becomes outrageously successful at delivering on the vision, creating the vision for the practice owner, the business owner, acquiring whatever success means to you in bigger levels and greater abundance. So when you have abundance, you can give out of your own abundance. But we kind of need to create it, right? It's okay to get a little obsessed about that. But also delivering the vision to the masses, to the people. Better patient care, better outcomes. People are healing, people are getting well and staying well, and you're getting to that point now where I finally arrived, where the vast majority of your practice is wellness-based, right? Just realized that the other day that we're like 90% wellness-based. Wow, we made it. Well, how do we get here, and how can we help other chiropractors get there and stay there, right? Some say it's easy. I don't believe that's true. I think it could be a little challenging, but I think there's ways of overcoming that challenge when you find the right resource. And I'm not saying I'm the right resource for everybody, but because I tried to focus on being dynamic and nonlinear, and not my way is the highway approach, and non-scripted, but being authentic and effective and focusing on ideas and principles that are universally applicable no matter who you are and where you practice and what demographic you serve or what school you went to. But if you focus on these things and improve these things, it's inevitable, it's impossible for the practice, the business model not to improve. And when that happens, it's impossible for the vehicle not to deliver the vision in a bigger way, a bigger, better way to humanity. Is that true? Yes? So again, in LPE, what it is, it's kind of a well. It's a resource. As far as the basic membership goes, you can go to limitlesspractice.com and learn a little bit more about it. I kind of need to tune up how that's described there, especially as it's growing and it's getting bigger and bigger. That's why I'm doing this video, so I can share this with people when they ask, what is it? And like, why did you create it? I can just ship them this video. But if you go there, the basic membership is a well. There's over 75 podcasts now focused on different elements of how a chiropractor could develop and grow their practice model, their business model, their service delivery model, how they might communicate with people, how they design their day one, or how they might innovate and optimize their strategy and mechanics behind their day one and day two. But do it in a way that you want to do it as the artist, right? Something that's honest and authentic for you, but just a more effective version than what existed yesterday or last week or last month, right? All kinds of things, attraction, conversion, retention, referrals, reputation marketing, nitpicky stuff. The details matter, right? It matters for me, especially when you get bigger and bigger. How many people come off your schedule? How do you manage that? Call list strategy, managing staff members and teammates. And again, tuning up the vehicle. So many moving parts in a vehicle, so many moving parts. Some more important than others, yes, but so many little moving parts in the vehicle of the practice that contribute to ultimate performance of the practice. What does it create day to day or decade to decade, right? So even little things with answering phone calls or calling people back or asking for reviews to build a bigger reputation and a bigger brand so more people are attracted to you, so you don't have to go outside and do more talks and lunch and learns and Facebook ads. Not saying that those things aren't important when you start, but ideally you'd like to get to a point where you don't even have to do that stuff anymore, right? But it takes a strategy, it takes a mindset, it takes some ideas and some advice, it takes some work. But we're trying to make that work easier by saying, let's focus on this. Here's the limitations, the flaws with how most people probably do it, how I did it, giving an examples, being very candid and transparent. Now here's the opportunities for making this better. Here's a plethora of suggestions. Pick 2 of the 12 that will work for you and make yourself better, make your business, make your practice model better. That's kind of what the basic membership is all about. So much potential, so many ideas and opportunities there. So with that being said, if you have any questions more about what it is or why you shouldn't get involved or why you should just check it out. That's the other reason I designed it the way I did is, yes, I did coaching once. Once was enough. Being very dynamic, being an artist, being a driver, somebody that wants to create their own version. I got sold on coaching, signed the contract, paid way too much, got way too little. So I designed Limitless Practice Elite, being involved as a member to be just month to month. You can get in, you can get out. Most people, when they get in, they're like, holy cow, this is exactly what I always wanted to. I'm staying. And they grow and they win. Some people are like, oh, there's a little bit of work here. I actually have to listen to some stuff and actually have to work on some stuff. I don't like this. I'm out. So I made it easy for people to get in, get out, check it out. But those that are willing to really, truly improve the vehicle so they can deliver the vision, they want to become a better chiropractor and business owner, and they want to do it the right way, and they want to do it as fast as possible, they tend to stay, and they tend to eat it up, spoonful after spoonful. So I encourage you to at least check it out. It's only $59 per month. Like I said, you can get in, you can get out, check it out. If you have questions, is it for a cash practice? Is it for just an insurance practice? Is it just for a certain technique? No, I already said that. I wanted to be very hypersensitive to creating no reason, no excuse for any chiropractor not to benefit from this, at least on some level, if not multiple levels. And I think we've done a really good job at that, honestly. So yes, this is for any types of practices. There's associate doctors in there. There are people that are at the $1 million mark, but they want to go bigger. And they kind of just plateaued, and they're figuring out, what am I not seeing? What could I be doing differently? How could I innovate and optimize to get to the 1.5, to the 2 million mark? There's people that have been in there longer in practice than I have. All different kinds of people. So I think we're spot on because all different kinds of chiropractors at all different stages with different interests, went to different schools, different philosophies and techniques, are extrapolating value on how to evolve, grow, develop as a chiropractor, but as a business owner. Ding, 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 we did it. So hopefully this answers the question, what is it? Why did I start it? Why should you check it out? LimitlessPractice.com. You know where to find me. If you got questions, just private message me. I'll always do my best to help out you in the best way I know how. Adios.